Hello, I'm Dawson Garner, and for my midterm presentation, I'm going to be covering collateral damage, military drones. What is collateral damage in drone warfare? So, first off, drone warfare is the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, otherwise known as UAVs, for targeted military strikes. Collateral damage, in this case, is unintended civilian death or injuries during military operations. The social problem is civilian harm resulting from counterterrorism policies. So the growth of drone warfare, it expanded significantly under the Obama administration and continued under the Trump administration. I believe it was decreased in operations under the Biden administration, and then with the Trump administration back in the White House, I believe it was kind of increased again. The U.S. has conducted approximately over 91,000 air and drone strikes since 2001, when the global war on terrorism started. So, civilian casualty statistics, I couldn't really find a lot of statistics for the last 5 years, basically because we haven't really been in an active war. There's been drone strikes and airstrikes, every now and then obviously with the stuff with Iran going on right now, but nothing that is going to be super accurate. So this is more specifically from 2001 to, it says present, but it's going to be basically 2021 when we withdrew from Afghanistan. So, according to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, the estimated civilian casualties during U.S. military operations was anywhere from 22,679 to 48,308. And I think those are very rough numbers. Obviously, it's a very wide range, but you kind of get the idea. Roughly 7 to 15% of those deaths are from drone operations specifically. So the Kabul drone strike in 2021, August 29th, 2021, in Kabul, Afghanistan, the U.S. was withdrawing from Afghanistan, and we had basically had a temporary peace deal with the Taliban, who had control over the government, and the idea was to withdraw all of our troops and assets peacefully without any problems, but there were intel reports from ISIS-K, which is a kind of another string of ISIS, and a completely different terrorist organization, but they were taking advantage of the situation. So the drone strike was intended to kill some of the operatives, and one of them ended up killing 10 civilians, including 7 children. The DoD called it a tragic mistake due to misidentification and faulty intelligence. And I will kind of add on to this. So I was in Dover when this was going on. I was stationed in Dover, and we had several guys that were deployed basically for this, and it affected us as well because we were moving aircraft and launching aircraft to basically get over there. And it all in all, it was just kind of very uncoordinated. There was, for lack of better terms, it was just kind of a shit show, to be honest. It was a lot going on, and nobody really knew what was supposed to be going on. And so, unfortunately, stuff like that does happen, and the drone operators are trying to protect, other U.S. service members, and those things can happen, unfortunately. So, why does collateral damage occur? Inaccurate intelligence, reliance on aerial surveillance without ground verification, signature strikes, which is behavior-based targeting, time-sensitive actions, and misidentification of civilian vehicles or buildings. So, some of the social problems that come from drone warfare are obviously death or permanent injuries, psychological trauma, anti-American ideologies, increased recruitment of extremist groups, increased in terrorist retaliation attacks, and human rights investigations by the UN. So some of the institutions that are involved with this specifically, excuse me, is obviously the U.S. military, federal government oversight committees, international law bodies, and human rights organizations. These institutions investigated civilian harm, reported casualties, and pushed for transparency reforms. Some of the policies and prevention efforts that came from this was the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan, increased strike approval requirements outside active war zones, and internal investigations of wrongful strikes. So the conclusion is drone warfare reduces risk to U.S. troops, but civilian casualties remain a significant global social problem. Tension remains between national security, human rights, and accountability for governments.